That was a nice little Thanksgiving gift from the Rockets here on Thanksgiving Eve. I missed the first 6 minutes of the game. I thought ESPN was going to hold it because it was a cup game. There's too many networks like Peacock, Amazon, they'll hold it. ESPN, of course, they're not going to hold it. But apparently the Warriors start, 4 of 4, 5 of 5 from downtown. Jimmy Butler takes 2 dare me threes. I saw the replay. And when I get the game on, we're up, 21-11, 20-11. Midway through that first quarter, the energy, the effort is there. And about midway through that second quarter, as Kerr kept going back to a 4-guard lineup, GP2 rolls the ankle, heads right to the locker room. So that meant Pat Spencer in the second half. But, this is what the Rockets do. They are the number one offense in the league. I buried the lead. No Kevin Durant. No Steven Adams. No Tari Eason. No Al Horford. No Kuminga, of course, right? So both teams depleted. And, this is what the Rockets do. Outside of KD's ISO offense, they turn you over, they get out in transition, and they offensive rebound the ball. Clint Capella is back there. And you started to see the size wear on the Warriors in the second quarter after the hot three-point shooting to start the game, right? And Reed Shepherd. Every generation in the NBA has a handful of players you've got to see in person live. I have yet to see Nikola Jokic, the Joker, and right now, he's out here Saturday against the Suns. You already know how I'm getting my tickets. It's a no-brainer. SeatGeek, 28 million downloads, the number one ticketing app, and over 70,000 events listed on there. And they rate their tickets on a 1 to 10 scale, green dot high value, red dot low. So you know the value in the ticket you're getting. Plus, it's backed by their buyer guarantee. And it's safe, it's seamless. It's the only way I go to live events, whether that's a concert, comedy show, NBA, NFL, they've got you covered. And you already know I'm going to hook you up. Because right now, you can use the code Alchemy10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off using the code Alchemy10 at SeatGeek. So go ahead and click the link in the description, download the app now so the code can automatically be added to your account for later. Arrives. He's the go-to on-ball guy with no KD and obviously no Fred VanVleet. Now, I think it was in a podcast a couple weeks ago. I was like, I don't know if he's what they're looking for because the start of this season, when he got this bigger role here with no Fred, it looked rough. It looked like he was just being destroyed defensively, and then it looked like he was more of a gunner offensively. You don't know if he can run an offense. He ran it tonight in part because of Şengün in that handoff game. But what do you have, a career high 30? I don't know if it's a career high 31 points. If we have to send 2 at Reed Shepherd and allocate that many resources defensively, we got problems, man. Draymond, I do think, is somewhat in Şengün's head. He was giving him that nail jumper, I dare you jumper, and pretty much kept him in control. And Amen Thompson was inefficient in the gapping style. But it almost, a part of, I think, Reed's performance was, and they did start sending 2, but it was not before he got going. He gets a lot of elevation on that jumper. You see the short pull-up midi, very confident in the 3. And he was their, the focal point of their offense. And in the start of that fourth quarter, he kind of just took the game over. All of a sudden, Houston has a lead. We're turning the ball over. Draymond and Steph combined for 11 turnovers, but there were a lot of fast-paced, scrappy, like 50-50 balls that, listen, our effort was there. We're not big enough. We're not athletic enough. I don't really have a problem with the effort. What I have a problem with is, it is what it is. Our role players just aren't good enough, right? If you want to spin it into a positive, Jimmy and Draymond and Steph are still good enough. It doesn't look like we have enough with the role players. Buddy offers in 15 minutes, right? With not to mention numerous defensive mistakes that yielded open threes. Pods had 14 points, but his overall floor game was bad. He was credited with 2 turnovers. He was probably responsible for 4 when you want to count fouls and stuff like that. And the effort was there. He got the floater going, right? The offense, but it's not putting enough pressure. You watch Reed Shepherd, if we want to compare the whites. No, Reed Shepherd was the 3rd pick in the draft. It's a different caliber or pedigree of player, but that's like, you just wish Pods could provide more of that like kickstart offense. And then Moses gets the start, 30 minutes, and he's 2 of 8. I know he rebounded the ball better, but Guy Santos offers in 6 minutes. Quentin Post was all right. And Will Richard was really like the shining part of the others, right? 18 points. And he's just going to, with GP2 out now, we saw a little bit of Pat, but Will has to step into a bigger role. I don't care about pecking order and earning your stripes as a rookie. He's earned it, right? He's clearly been the most consistent role guy. And it feels like because our role players are all young, home court advantage matters so much more now than it did in previous years. And I thought we could get this one. And I didn't care that KD or Steven Adams was out. It's not about that, because I think both these teams will look different when it matters in the playoffs. And right now it's all about just like getting the wins where you can. It looked like we were comfortably on it, and then it just fell apart. And then Steph gets chipped up. To add insult to injury on a blatant charge from Amen Thompson, who is in foul trouble. Amen just looked, the Thompson twins just looked guilty, right? They looked like some guilty brothers. They got a resting guilt face, but they weren't guilty on that charge. And again, to add insult to the overturning a call, Steph goes down on his right. Was it his right hip? I think it was his right hip. He tries to shake it off, and 30 seconds, 60 seconds goes by, and you see him trying to get up the court. Now he doesn't have like a full gait, and he can't even swing his leg. And so Steph checks out late in the game, and Houston just runs away with it as we turn the ball over, can't generate clean offense. And I wrote in my notes for tomorrow's breakdown, I was like, needed it. There were like 3 or 4 threes down the stretch from our role guys. Open, clean looks. It was like, you needed that one. You needed that one. You needed that one. That's at home against a depleted Rockets team. So, yeah, man, I mean, it kind of feels like last year, even with Jimmy Butler now, how much of an impact could have Kuminga made on this game? He could have had a huge one, right? It could have changed the game, but, they had guys out as well. But the Kuminga situation, I'm going to do a trade video here maybe Saturday, and we'll talk about the possibilities, and I'll rank like what I would like. But beyond that, when you look at Buddy and Pods and Moses, for that matter, of late, those three, like, we're going to have to find a way to upgrade them. And that's just the honest truth about it, right? Like, you like him, you root for Moses. He's such a good guy. I've said I'm a Pods guy. Like, I want him to at least be a contributing role player. And then Buddy, he earned a lot of clout with the playoff performance last year, but he has been a complete disaster. GP2's hurt now. Pat Spencer is not a heavy minute guy. He's not. He's a put him in with 2 minutes in the end of the second quarter and let him dog somebody out end to end. He's not like a break the rotation guy. Guy, the poor guy can't, listen, I know he's a foul magnet. He cannot get a whistle. Guy Santos cannot get a whistle. I think he's got to cut the hair. I think there's something about the hair that makes it seem like everything is a foul with Guy. But yeah, man, I really thought we could steal this one. But I think it's showing that a healthy Warriors team, relatively healthy, I guess there's no Al Horford, but that we're not in Houston's league. That's without KD, without Eason, without Adams, who's always a problem for us. But I think that the positives is that the big three still look like the big three. They got to surround them with different players. Now, as far as the Steph hip knee thing, didn't he have some sort of, man, is that what we're doing now with like the older players, sciatica? LeBron, Al, I'm not saying Steph's thing was a sciatica, but it looked to be some sort of hip, right knee type of thing. Contusion, right? I think the positive is it didn't look like he twisted wrong or there was a buckle or anything like that. It looks like he slammed onto the floor hard. But contusion at Steph's big age can last weeks. And so now 20 games into the season, I read something, this week that was like the Warriors, they have this plan in place to see what they can do with this team, but they're in position to pivot. And they can do that as soon, January 15th. And so not all, we're not stuck with this look, but it looks grim right now. I think we can all agree about that. Anyway, man, I will go through the tape and the breakdowns of the mistakes. Sometimes I'm actually looking forward to this one outside of all the whistles that we didn't get, because I want to see exactly. It might just be as simple as their size and athleticism. We didn't execute, right? But it was It was a high effort, intense game, and it was a fun game until it wasn't. But I'll have that breakdown in the morning. And we move on to New Orleans, who looked better tonight. Derek Queen. Who else is going for them? Jeremy Fears, the youngster. But they were leading against Memphis all night and then blew it in overtime. So, it's not like they're on a winning streak or anything, but they were competitive. And you might imagine no Steph Friday night. Who steps in, man? We don't have that. Is Kuminga going to be cleared? I guess the other bright news is DeAnthony Melton is scrimmaging. It sounds like they're ready to maybe put him in as soon as this weekend. It won't be, he'll be on a minutes restriction, how conservative they are. But Melton can definitely cut into the Buddy Pods Moses minutes. And I'm not expecting to see Steph for a week. So, yeah, I don't know when we're going to get a chance to lick these wounds, man. It's rough. I think we're going to start talking trades here. And the positive is we've got assets, and it looks like a lot of the league is looking to make trades. So I think something's going to happen. But that's a tough one, man. Houston is a mini rivalry, and you got to get that game. There were so many threes. Did we not make a three in that second half? It's boom or bust with the threes. We don't have anybody else that can create a shot. And now you got Steph limping around. Anyway, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what happened tonight. If you were out, knocking them back, what do they call it? Like wet Wednesdays or wilding out Wednesdays? That's all I got for y'all. Y'all have a safe and happy Thanksgiving. I'm out, y'all.